Show me the money. Hello and welcome. You're with World Business Report. I'm Sally Bundock. Also in the programme, politicians in Europe try to fix its key tool for tackling climate change, the emissions trading system. But first, French President François Hollande will find out today whether a political gamble has paid off for him. He ordered his ministers to publish details of their personal wealth, and they were given until today to do that. It is an effort to restore his government's reputation after a scandal surrounding his former budget minister, Jérôme Cahuzac, who admitted to hiding hundreds of thousands of euros. Julie Peacock reports. Now, 8 years ago, Europe thought it had come up with a way of reducing the output of carbon dioxide, the gas blamed for global warming. Under the emissions trading system, industry could buy and sell permits that would allow them to produce carbon dioxide. But experts say the system is broken, and today European Parliament will discuss a plan to fix it. So let's talk about the problem. Well, to talk us through this, I'm joined by Kash Burchett, who's the Europe analyst at IHS Energy. Good morning, Kash. Thanks for coming in. So just tell us a little bit more as to why the system is not working fully. Is that basically it? What I was just, can EU officials do to try and fix this? So in terms of the long-term picture, because this system is a system that many around the world were looking at to see, could this be a blueprint for how we try and reduce our carbon emissions elsewhere in the world? You know, for those looking on in, they see it's not working, they've got to fix the system. And how do you think this will play out eventually? Kash Burchett, thank you for your time. We'll keep an eye on that story and we'll update you as well as and when we get changes to that system. Now let's move on, because a new political party was launched in Germany on Sunday called Alternative for Germany. Now, the pace of economic growth in China slowed in the first 3 months of this year. That's come as a bit of a shock to many economists who've been forecasting that the Chinese economy would continue to accelerate after a slowdown in early 2012. So if we have a look at the numbers, GDP expanded at a rate of 7.7% in the first 3 months of the year. Most countries would be quite happy with that figure, but for China, it's got to maintain a faster growth rate to maintain growing incomes and job opportunities. That first quarter performance is a slowdown from the end of last year, when its growth was 7.9%. Economists were hoping the figure today would be 8%. Let's speak to Jing Ulrich, who's an economist at JP Morgan. She's in our bureau in Hong Kong. Jing, thanks for being on the programme. Give us your response to this figure today.
Thank you.
Should we be concerned about it, the fact that it's worse than expected, or is this just some skewed blip at the start of the year?
Well, I think in the first quarter, GDP growth clearly trailed analysts' forecast. Many people were expecting 8% growth. The number actually came in at 7.7%. Now, going forward, there are some concerns about the Chinese economy. Number one, we have concerns about the liquidity situation. We have a lot of debt issued in the first quarter. However, GDP growth still lagged overall estimates. Number two, we also had a rebalancing issue. In the first quarter, a lot of the growth still came from investments rather than consumption. If you look at the retail sales figures, actually the growth rate also came in below expectations. And talking to Chinese companies across the industrial sector, quite a lot of them are experiencing overcapacity, so they're reluctant to invest further. So as a result, in the coming few quarters, we may continue to see a lot of economic headwinds.
Do you think the new government then will be more aggressive about trying to help the Chinese economy now, given today's news and also a lot of the economic news we had last week out of China?
I don't think the government will be extremely aggressive. I think the government will be steady and prudent in its monetary policy and fiscal policy. Now, in the second quarter this year, we're expecting some softening in the housing market. In the first quarter, we had a blockbuster quarter in terms of transaction volumes. However, new measures have just been introduced to cool down over speculation in the real estate market. So that is going to be also a drag on growth. Going forward, I think the central government is really keen to rebalance the economy. Therefore, they're supporting the consumption of lower income families. They're clamping down on corruption and luxury spending that's illegitimate. In the meantime, they're trying to control industry overexpansion and overcapacity. So it's very much a balancing act.
All right, Jing, Ulrich, we've got to leave it there, but thank you for your time. From JP Morgan, based in Hong Kong. So let's have a look at how the markets are interpreting this, because of course this news today comes off the back of poor economic news out of the US on Friday. So it was not what investors wanted to hear at all. In Asia, we're seeing losses right across the board, and we are seeing the yen strengthen as well. That's all from me for the time being. I'll be back to talk you through the papers. See you soon.